Hi, everyone. So let's talk about relationships. How and why do two people come together, stay together, and then why do they eventually split up? Why do relationships end up breaking? So I think, I was at dinner with some of my favorite people tonight, and we brought this up because of course, I have my own thoughts about it, but I was also sort of wanting to get some youngsters' perspective, and I seem to be getting a lot of people that I'm working with currently that are struggling with relationships. It's like it doesn't matter if you're 16 or if you're 26, 36, or 40, 50, 66. It doesn't matter. It seems like there's a lot of singles out there. Everyone is either looking for love in a relationship, having trouble in a relationship, or divorced, single again, and now, looking for love again. And what I'm finding, the common thread in all of this is quite fascinating. So this is my, perspective on relationships. So I think, we relationships happen because we each have a list of qualities that we're looking for in a partner, in a person, right? And so we each have, we have certain looks, qualities, certain emotional traits, whatever the case might be. And each of us go out sort of, subconsciously shopping for those traits in a partner. And when we find most of those, we end up there ends up being, a mutual attraction, connection, and then we end up falling into a relationship, right? And then, it's we don't always get everything on our list, do we? No, because that perfection, that list doesn't exist. There's no one out there that's going to meet everything on our list. So let's look at our list, right? For a woman, and I'll speak as a woman, we all want someone who's physically attractive, right? Although that doesn't tend to be the first thing for a woman. But for a man, looks are the number one because men, are visual creatures. Of course, depends on the age, depends on the maturity level, depends on how much life experience you have, your priorities and your values. Other things fall in place. So, we all want someone who's intelligent, who's, successful, hopefully someone who's moral, ethical. That's not always important to everyone. We want someone who's emotionally balanced, although that's not always an important priority in our lives. We want someone who sort of has their life together, right? And when we meet someone, we kind of fall into that attractive, infatuation stage as we get to know each other. And then, whatever the relationship status is, whether you're just dating or whether you're engaged or whether you're married, whatever the case might be, we all have sort of, things that we either settle for or we compromise, right? So what happens? So, we all have a list of expectations. We have things that bring us together, but then what brings people apart? What happens? I think in the beginning when we meet someone, we have this euphoria, we have this infatuation stage, and we're willing to sort of overlook things because we're so excited about meeting someone. And then eventually, once things settle down and we fall into the routine of life and relationships, then some of the things that we either didn't notice or intentionally ignored, or we thought, oh, I can fix that, I can help him with that. It's that becomes glaringly magnified. And then conflict starts to occur to a point then where one party goes, I just can't do this anymore. Either I need time for myself, or it's, I've just, don't want to be in a relationship, whatever the case might be. There's so many reasons. And then one person, of course, either, doesn't want to be in it. So then one person's really hurt. They're both really hurt, but then you're left with heartache. And, so I talk to a lot of people, and I myself have been in situations where so I'll just use me, right? So I will really say, for example, like a man, but then for whatever reason, why do I like someone? Well, because in my list, in my list of things, this person matches all the things that I want. But he doesn't reciprocate. Why doesn't he feel that way about me? Because in his list of things, I don't match up, right? But then there's somebody else who likes me, but then I'm not attracted to that person because, again, that person doesn't match up my list, while in that person's list, I match up. And it is hilarious because if you look around, either you're in that situation or people who are in that situation, right? Because for whatever reason, that seems to be like the game of life. So I think it's just hilarious. And I've been asking myself a lot of questions about this. When two people come together, but the relationship doesn't last, I think, how do you reconcile that? So I think it's very painful. Getting serious, I think it's very painful. It's very hard to let go. I am currently working with quite a few couples, and I'm working with one end of the couple, whether it's the man or the woman that ends up being my client or being my friend that, I'm there to support. And it's really, really hard because in your heart that this is a person you love, and that you can help them, and that you can save them, and you can give them the love that they want. But that person is pushing you away, right? And it's really hard because what do you do with that? Well, I think we can't control anything. We can't control another person. We can't force someone to feel any way towards us. It would be great if, we could wave a magic wand and, that person would love us back exactly the same way we want to be loved. But we don't have that control. People are people, and that's the beauty of free will. So I think the reason why people come together is because people are in each other's lives to either teach or to learn. There's some cute little quote that I'm sure you've read or you've heard at one point or another. People come into your life for a reason, for a season, or a lifetime, right? And I think it's quite appropriate, as cheesy as that sounds, because I think people come into your lives, sometimes it might just be a friendship, not even a relationship. Sometimes people cross paths and will, focus on the relationship aspect of it because they're there for a reason. They're there because you're supposed to learn something, and I believe that's always the case. Or they're supposed to learn something, and it's usually mutual. And when that time is done, when that past karma, when you are supposed to do whatever you're supposed to do, you end up splitting up, right? It's incredible because, it's just mind-blowing because, I know people who were married for like 25, 26, 27 years, or they were going out and they were getting ready to be engaged and everything was perfect, and all of a sudden they're not together anymore. It's like, whoa, what just happened? And just like that, it's like they're done. But it's never just like that. It's never that instant, right? There's always little red flags. There's always little clues that, people avoid or people ignore or people think, they're working through because nobody wants to just give up on a relationship. But I think it's important to realize that there's a reason we came together, and let's look for the lesson, right? What are the lessons we're supposed to learn from this? What were they here to teach me? And that's hard. That's really hard when your heart is breaking, when your heart is just, you can't, and then if they want space and you have to give them space and all you want to do is reach out to them, that's really hard. But I think surrender, guys, surrender. If you're in that situation, surrender. First of all, you can't force anyone to love you, okay? I also, got a call from someone that, they don't want to be in the relationship, but the other person won't let them go. You can't force this stuff. This has to be mutual. And then I have another friend of mine, who had his heart broken, and literally just beautifully this amazing woman walked into his life, and effortlessly he goes, I don't even know what just happened, but I'm in a relationship and it's mutual and it just flows together. And I think that's brilliance. Now, hopefully it's a new relationship. So let's see how that one lasts. But it seems really promising. So I think we meet people. So then, when we were talking, the discussion was, so then what do we do? Like, do we just like not date until we are completely whole and perfect and, kind of have ourselves figured out? I don't think that's realistic because, when does one stop growing and evolving? Well, I think when we die, right? So does that mean you're never in a relationship? Does that mean 15, 16, 17-year-olds should not be in a relationship? No, of course you are. But I think what happens is we meet people at the vibrational frequency that we are at. So it's like a radio station, right? When you tune the radio station, when you turn it to a certain number, that's the frequency that's going to catch, and that's what you're going to hear, right? You're not going to get 96.5 if you're putting down 102.5, right? It's just not going to happen. So I think we're human beings are like that. We're going to attract the kind of person that we are. We're going to attract that. That person is going to come into our lives to meet us at our frequency. Now, when we part ways, it's because it's an opportunity for us to learn and grow and raise our vibrational frequency. And then when we raise our vibrational frequency, take some time, regroup, recenter, don't just jump from one relationship to another. Then when you're ready and the vibrational frequency is raised, your vibrational frequency is raised, then the next teacher, partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, lover, comes into our lives to then again spend time together, learn, grow, teach. But then, there's others that end up staying, and that's beautiful, right? And then they're the ones you're supposed to do your most learning from. And I'll tell you, I truly believe that lessons are going to keep repeating until we learn them. Okay, so yes, you can have one breakup, and then you move on, and then you find another partner, and somehow it seems like you find yourself in the same exact relationship again, right? How? Why? Well, the person may be different, the scenario may be different, but the underlying lesson is the same because you did not learn the lesson. I did not learn the lesson I was supposed to. So God has given me another opportunity to learn the lesson that my soul is supposed to learn. And this person has shown up as the teacher. So once you learn the lesson, you accept the lesson, which is hard. But that's what we're here to do. Then it moves on. You raise your vibrational frequency and hopefully you meet the next person. I think that, when we break up or when we're breaking up, it's heartbreaking. Literally, it feels like, your heart is just breaking, and the pain and the tears, it's so much heartache. But, I want to suggest something. I think the ability and the opportunity and the blessing to feel that much love for another person, I think is a gift from God. Okay? So the fact that you are even capable of loving someone, hopefully unconditionally, but that's usually not the case unless you're a parent. But, just the experience and the blessing of being able to experience love is a joy and a blessing. Because we don't feel that for every Tom, Dick, Harry, or Mary Jane, whatever, right? So I think that's a gift. If you can feel that much love and you are able to experience that much love, that's a blessing. Also, if you're able to experience heartache and tears, then I think that's a blessing too, because your heart literally just expands, and your capacity to love and be empathetic and feel pain makes you, I think, a better human being and a better person and a better partner for the next whoever that comes into your life. So I think there's blessings in all of that. So, even though you may feel that you've lost, right? Even in losing, you actually are winning. Okay, and I was saying this at dinner today, and sometimes you think you won, but you've lost, right? So sometimes when we get in a relationship, I've seen people in a relationship and it's a toxic relationship, and you think you got that person, perfect person, but you have to really, you've had to really compromise and give up a lot of who you are just so you can say you have a relationship with this person, just so, for society's reasons, they match. I think that's sad because even though you might have won, you lost. Get it? But on the other side, when you think your heart is breaking and you think you're losing this dream person that, you've imagined a whole life with, sometimes in losing that person, you're actually winning because you don't know the future. You don't know what you're going to evolve into. You don't know what the other person is going to evolve into or what they bring into it, as well as you might think you know that person. Only God knows that, right? And so sometimes, not sometimes, I truly believe, I think we need to just surrender. Surrender to God, surrender to, the higher power, and trust that whatever is happening is unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to, and you're going to be okay. Just trust and surrender. That I think is, the only way to be. And of course, gratitude, right? Anyways, I've said a lot. I feel like it's been all over the place. I don't know if this has made sense. It certainly was a great conversation at dinner today, and it certainly flowed. I know the people that were at dinner with me, some of them are watching this, and I know you're laughing right now. But I did the best I could. I hope this makes sense. And lots of love to all. Lots of, I wish you all the best and best of relationships. But I also want to just say, there's a power in being alone and by yourself. Learn to be comfortable with yourself, by yourself. A lot of people I know, myself included when I was younger, could not be alone. I always had to be in a relationship. And so I think we need to be careful about that. If that's something that you find yourself doing, then you need to ask yourself some questions. Are you afraid to be alone? What are you not afraid? What are you afraid to deal with? Why are you not afraid? Why are you not comfortable being by yourself? And start working on that, and really awareness is step one in any kind of change occurring. So with that, I wish you love and light, and God bless.